All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a little bit since I last made a video. My last video was about the Sixers getting the third pick in the draft. And now that time has passed and we've kind of studied a little bit of the prospects, heard some rumors about who's going to fall where, maybe they'll trade back. I wanted to talk about the options the Sixers have at number 3 and a strong opinion I have. I haven't finished my research on these prospects. There's still a bunch of tape I have to watch. But I feel very strongly about one prospect, and that's the prospect that is the most controversial and polarizing prospect, especially when it comes to the Sixers, and that is Ace Bailey. You have people on one side that say draft him, he's the next KD, and people on the other side that say stay far away, he's a bust waiting to happen. Um, I happen to be in the latter. I think drafting him would be a mistake, and let me explain to you why. First of all, let me just give you a little rundown of Ace Bailey as a player. Uh, 18 years old, freshman season at Rutgers, 17 points per game on 46% shooting, 34% from three, 70% from the free throw line. Free throw line is usually a pretty good indicator of how good a guy will be as a three-point shooter, so you'd like to see better than 70%. Ace Bailey, he's 6'8", 6'7", 6'8". He got measured around there at the combine. Many people thought all year long that he was 6'10", so that was kind of a big blow to his stock. He kind of gets talked about as this like bucket getter prospect that, given the ball, he can get a great shot. He can create his own shot, but he doesn't get any shots at the rim. One of his biggest weaknesses is that for somebody his size, with his wingspan and his measurables, which is still good, even though he's 6'7" and not 6'10", he should be getting to the rim way more. He has a 9% rim frequency in the half court. So to dumb that down, only 9% of his shots in the half court come at the rim. For somebody at that size, that should be way higher. That's close to the bottom of most of the draft eligible players. Even when you compare him to guys like he's getting compared to or Tatum or Brandon Ingram or Jaylen Brown, those guys all got to the rim at a higher rate and had statistical production that you could point to and say, if he continues to do well in that area, he could be a star. Now, my logic is, you hear people say, Kevin Durant shoots the mid-range all the time. Kawhi Leonard shoots the mid-range all the time. Those guys get their shots in the mid-range when defenses take away other options. They don't shoot in the mid-range because they have to. And there's a difference between shooting in the mid-range in the NBA Finals and having to settle for bad fadeaways against Northwestern or Penn State because his handle isn't good enough to get to his spots. That's a skill. Is we see it in the playoffs when you watch Jalen Brunson. Even despite his size, he knows how to get to the middle of the paint. All these players have different ways of getting to the paint, getting to the rim. That's one of the most important things as a shot creator. Especially if you're not a great 3-point shooter, 34% on only a very few 4 attempts per game is not very good. And the free throw rate doesn't indicate that he'll become much better, although you never know. Jaylen Brown was a guy who had a bad free throw percentage, and he became a good 3-point shooter. But the point I'm trying to make is that he should be getting to the rim way more, and that is a very important skill. Another thing is, I hear people make the argument that, well, they're not gonna ask him to create his own shot. He's not gonna come in as a star. Well, then I would argue, what is the thing that makes him a great role player? When you truly look at the role players, especially the role players on the playoff teams and the teams that are remaining, it's filled with guys that can make quick snap decisions when the ball hits their hand. Dribble, pass, shoot, defend, can switch everything on defense. It's not guys that are creating their own shot by taking 7 or 8 dribbles and settling for a fadeaway. That skill is even more useless if he's going to be nothing more than a role player. If you want to make the argument that skill is important because he's going to be a star, maybe that's an argument you can make. But if he's going to be a role player, then that skill is even more useless. So that's why I view him truly as honestly the very definition of a boomer bust prospect. Or I think he's either going to be a star or a total bust. Now, I don't think he's going to be like out of the league or anything, but I don't see him being a winning player, a 16 game player in a playoff series if he doesn't improve his decision making, his passing, uh, getting to his spots easier. And it's just he has all these things working against him that it's a really hard bet to make, and that's why I think there are better options, and that's why I feel strongly about not taking Ace Bailey. I know people have Jason Tatum PTSD where they're afraid if you pass on the wing at 3 that he's going to turn into a superstar. I get it, but like what my eyes tell me and what the statistical numbers tell me, everything is screaming at everybody that this guy is not a star and he's an extremely flawed prospect. But maybe he improves and we'll see. But if it was up to me, I would not draft Ace Bailey, and that's my reasoning behind that. So I'm gonna do more research on prospects. I still haven't decided who I want or trade back, all that stuff, or trade up. Obviously, I'd love to trade up to 1, but that's not happening. Um, but anyway, I'll have more draft stuff coming as we approach the draft, about a month away now. Give me a like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time.